Hey you guys. So in this video I'm actually just going to simply be tapping and scratching on my tap shoes, cleaning them a bit with you guys, and just chatting with you about my dance history, my dance story. One of you requested this in the last Q&A. It was a question like you wanted me to do a video talking about like traveling or dancing or both. Anyway, I never got to the dancing portion. I did a travel video. So I thought I would share that with you today. As we tap on the tap shoes. Very poetic. Poetic tingles. So let's see. I've not planned this, guys, so I'm just going to share from the beginning. So let's see. I actually did not start dancing in like dance classes, like formal classes, until I was about, let's see, 11, no, that can't be right. 7, 8, 9, 10, I don't know, like 11, 10 years old or something. And I would say most dancers start younger. So I didn't start like formally taking classes until 10 years old. However, I was told by my family members many times that anytime music got turned on in the house, I started dancing immediately, and they took note that I was able to kind of follow the beat even if I'd never heard the song before. So I guess if they put on like some kind of music I hadn't heard, a song I hadn't heard, they'd see me still like stopping at the right spots, and they were like, what's going on there? How did she know to do that? So it just is like in my bones. I have a family member who's an incredible musician, and genetically I think that's where the rhythm section came from. And that kind of artistry in that realm came from. So it was just in the blood, you know? So I remember also doing gymnastics and ice skating before ever taking a dance class. So I was put in some ice skating classes, and I remember doing that, and then gymnastics I think came next, but I feel like they were only like a year, maybe not like a long time. Like I wasn't like passionate about either of them. Like I liked them, they were like in the vein of my interest but not quite there. So I guess when we started the dance classes, that was when it was like, this is my jam, I love this. These are completely worn out. The sole is supposed to look like this, and they're completely worn out. So I'm just kind of dusting them a bit, getting them a bit more shiny. I actually have some wet wipes that I'm probably going to use on them. This, what you see on the toe, that's just from actually going on the toe. To a certain degree, and like certain kind of tap moves, I don't know, you just hit this part of your toe, so it messes up the actual shoe there. So I'm going to grab some wet wipes and then continue to share. I've got this little pack here. It came in a pack of 3, so it's got this like yellow tape around it. Let's grab 2. So I'm just going to use a little bit of the wet wipe, and just dry it immediately. You don't want to like let these get too wet. It's just like a faux leather type material. Yeah, yeah, so let's see, the first classes I did were like a jazz and a hip hop class. I was very young, and I loved the classes so much. And I went then I did ballet classes and tap classes, but my passions were in hip hop and what I called lyrical dance, which is like, maybe it's not quite contemporary. It's like a very emotional, slower version of jazz. Contemporary's different, but it's like the closest I could like give a name that like people know well from like dance shows and stuff. So I was in classes and I was in dance teams in school. I did something called drill team, which taught me like kind of sharpness of moves. That's where you do like the like hand movements walking down the street with a band. I was in something called an auxiliary guard, where you spin flags and rifles, which is weird to say looking back, but spin rifles and swords. I didn't do the swords. What did we call those? They're not called swords, they're called sabers, I think. Anyway, one's just called a rifle. It's not really a rifle, obviously. So weird looking back on that. Maybe we just flip those around. Gosh, that is really bizarre. Threw them in the air, caught them. There was like a very military-esque type of again, you're marching behind like a band, and you're like doing these things and we call them field shows. Did any of you guys do field shows if you were in the band or in the auxiliary guard? So yeah, that's what I did. But that was when I realized like there was a dance company that I could be a part of, and a lot of my closest friends were going to continue doing this auxiliary guard. This was in high school, and I just really wanted to dance. And looking back, I think I'm kind of proud of myself. I don't remember ever being too affected. Like my closest friends were going to stay in that group, but I love to dance, and I felt like that was my passion. I wanted to be in this dance team. I remember going to see this dance company, actually. I saw the company perform a few times in high school before I could actually be a part of it. You have to be like a certain age to be a part of this dance company. And you guys, I was inspired beyond belief. I would go home in my room and just dance and like feel them. I would just put music on that was similar to what I heard and like pretend and imagine I'm on the stage. I love to perform. I love dancing. It's just my favorite thing. So yeah, I just decided, I really prefer to get more dance training and to be in this dance team. Like, it wasn't even a question for me. So I auditioned for that dance company, and that's what I learned the most I've ever learned in my dancing career. It was like I just like blossomed. I got to learn so many different techniques. Again, lyrical, which again is like a emotional, slower version of jazz, I guess you could say, and hip hop are my favorites. But we did a lot. Like, I got to learn more technique because since I didn't start dance super early, I wasn't like super trained with technique. It's called technique is like your leaps, your jumps, your turns, keeping your body in the correct positions. So ballet is really the foundation for jazz, contemporary, modern, all those dance forms. So even though ballet was not my favorite, it's something you have to do and know in order to do the other styles well. So I loved being in that company. I was in that company for 2 years. It was my favourite dance experience in terms of, just like you're with all these other people. You perform multiple times in a year. We did a show that's like a week-long show that every night you perform, and then there's like weekends where you just perform twice, and it's just like rehearsals all day every day, but it's like a community feeling, so you're with a group of people, and it's really special. And just learned a lot. I learned a lot about lighting, music, choreography. Choreography is creating the dances, the routines. And I got to my second year in that dance company. I was like I don't know, it was called like the president of the company. I don't know, I was like the leader of the company is in terms of dancers, I guess you could say. And so that was a really cool opportunity, and it's just, I just am so passionate about it. I just love it so much. I love dance because you can express yourself fully and tell stories and process the depths of life in this form of art. It's very meaningful to me. I love it so much. So that's where I feel like my technique really came about. My leaps, my jumps, my turns, all of that was, every day, we're doing that. And so even though I don't feel like that's still my strongest suit compared to some other dancers, it's that's where I really honed in on that part. I'm more, my area of expertise is I think passion, actually. The passion in the movement and the feeling in the movement and the actual movements. When it comes to technique, like some girls might be able to do like 5-6 pirouettes. I could do like 3, like that's it, that's all. But like if Elsa cons, like where you have one leg up and you're doing, I could do those for days on end. Those are fun. But just anyway, that's neither here nor there. But I then went on to teach dance for many years. I taught ages between, even from 4 and 5 years old was probably the youngest, all the way through high school age. I taught lots of different places. I did these shoes. I tapped in these for years, teaching tap in these. I do love tap, but it's still not my favorite. Let's see. I'm just gonna grab the other shoe. Let's see. So about the time, I actually was in college while I was teaching everywhere, and I was going back and forth from school to teaching to everywhere, and my degree was in linguistics. Interestingly, I never considered a degree in dance, and it's actually because the dance world is not super friendly. It wasn't at the time. I think it might be a bit better now, but there's a lot of attitudes and just instead of just loving dance, it's a lot of trying to be the best, and it's kind of sad actually. I just had no interest in actually being amongst other dancers all the time. That's so sad. Dancers aren't the individual friends with dancers, that's fine, but when you're in a group of dancers in a dance company, it can be not the best. It's just not, it just wasn't my jam. However, I decided to still take some classes at the university, the college I went to. had a great dance program actually, and so I could still take classes even though it wasn't my like major, my degree. So I still got the opportunity to do that. And that was really fun. I feel like that really also brought my technique to another level and my performance to another level during that time. Even though I didn't perform, I was just in the classes, it's still like you do kind of perform in classes a bit with each other. You know, once you learn a routine or something, like you perform to the class, or like I remember one time we had to do a scene from West Side Story. So we were put into groups and we had to do a scene from West Side Story, and this was a Jazz 3 class. In fact, I did not think I would be able to keep up with a Jazz 3 class in college. I really, really didn't think I could, but I was able to, and it was great, and I loved it. But I just didn't imagine what it would be like going like from a company when I'm in high school age to college dancing, but yeah, I think I was intimidated, thinking I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. But sure enough, so that was really encouraging. I remember leaving that class. It was a 3-hour class, a couple times a week, and it was a jazz class. And I remember the first few times, the first time I told the teacher, like we were sitting down, and I was like, I just want to be up front with you, like it's all of us, all the students, and I don't know, she's talking about our experience, etc. I was like, I want to be up front, like I have no idea if I'm going to be able to keep up. I probably won't be able to, just FYI, I'm going to try. And then I remember, like, after the first few classes, during the break, I remember running through the halls to go to a drinking fountain, and I had, like, a huge smile on my face. I felt so encouraged. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm good at this, even in a college level. I was like, you know, you just don't know. You don't know, you know, so it's just like, wow, this is great. This is really fun. But I will say credit to my dance teacher, the person in charge of the dance company. She was awesome. I mean, she was on it. She taught so well. She took care of our bodies. It was a very professional company, and so I had more from that experience than I had realized even, you know. P.S. You know what I'll do? I'll put a little video on Patreon of me tapping for you guys, just my feet tap dancing, just a little bit. I'll put it on Patreon. If you don't know what Patreon is, there's always a link for it in the description box, but I put like special behind the scenes stuff and extra videos each month, like as like a thank you for being there with me and supporting me in that way on Patreon. It's like you get little rewards for the tier you're on, etc. You can check it out, but I will put that as like a behind the scenes, which everyone on Patreon gets to see all the behind the scenes, no matter what tier you're giving at, etc. But that really is, yeah, I'll put that. I'll try to remember to film after this. So yeah, that was my experience dancing in college. Actually, there's one really, my favorite story. Oh, the only people who know this story are those on Patreon, by the way. I've only shared this with people on Patreon before, so this is my first time ever sharing this on the main channel. But it was really special to me. When I was in one of the college classes, we had Justin Timberlake's choreographer come in to do like a mock audition class, because most of these people in the class are going to be professional dancers. That's why they're getting their degree in dance. They're going to be auditioning, all this stuff. That wasn't actually what I was planning on doing. I didn't want to audition, and I really didn't want to be in that world. I ended up, I'll share more as we go, but I ended up dancing a lot, but just didn't really want to be in that world. It's okay. I'm like comforting myself. It's okay. And I just like, yeah, there's like two sides of dance, and in some ways I would have loved to have been able to do stuff like TV and performance shows. For example, Justin Timberlake in the Super Bowl, for example, the dancers there, like, or a music video with Justin Timberlake, like that, like, but I was, yeah, there's just, just didn't like that world. Still don't. But I did find like a way to continue to dance in like a way that it wasn't that kind of atmosphere. Forgive me, it's probably changed now. I hope it's changed more, but I assume it has, because I don't know, it wasn't a very great environment. Like, you say hi to someone, they just stare at you like, hey, and they'll just like look at you with their arms crossed like, I am going to be better than you. It's just like, that's so boring. Okay, so anyway, in the dance class, Justin Timberlake's choreographer comes in, and she teaches a routine to like help us learn how to do an audition, etc. She's an incredible dancer, incredible choreographer. Justin Timberlake, if you don't know him, in the US, most people will know Justin Timberlake. Actually, probably most people around the world, I guess, might know Justin Timberlake, but he's an incredible musician, singer, dancer. He's a great dancer too. I don't know if you guys know that. So I'm in this like audition class, and I think I kind of went last minute. I was like, well, this class is for people majoring in it and like trying to learn to audition. Like, I don't really care. I don't think I'm gonna do that really, but this sounds really fun. It's Justin Timberlake's choreographer. So I went, and hilarious, you guys. I am terrible at learning choreography really quickly. Choreographers in classes teach at the speed of light. It's too fast. I don't know how people do that and still have fun. I mean, my brain, I have way too much anxiety and OCD. The amount of things that come into my mind in the middle of a dance class where they're trying to teach me quick, there's no way I'm going to catch all those moves. I'm terrible at that. So she's like teaching so fast, and I'm like, you know, I'm getting like a few things here and there. But because I love dance so much and I'm passionate and I'm hitting it hard, it's like, I didn't realize, because I'm looking around the class and like these are all like, they're killing it. Like, they've got those moves, they've got the moves. But here's the thing that's lacking. This is what I mean by technique and passion. If you have a dancer who has great technique and great at picking up choreography, but you don't feel anything when they dance, it's a waste. It's not really, you know. And that, I think that's what happened in this class. People were so focused on auditioning, and I was just loving that this is a Justin Timberlake song. He's got incredible dance stuff, and I was doing terrible, honestly. I was dancing well, but I wasn't catching the moves quick enough. So I'm just like looking around, trying to like hitting it once in a while really hard, and then just like fumbling for a while, and then like getting it again. Anyway, I'm like, for sure, like thinking this is ridiculous. I'm sure Justin Timberlake's choreographer at the time, like, she was probably thinking like, what, like, you're not getting them. Anyway, she had this moment where she brought, this always happens in dance classes, okay? After you learn a routine, everyone goes and sits down, and she like gives you numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. All the ones come up and perform. Now all the twos come up and perform for the rest of the group, like that. So when it's time for my group, I went up and I did what I did as we were dancing the whole time. I got portions I totally fumbled. And then I went and sat down. But then afterwards, she would say, who in that group, shout the name of the person in that group, or point to them or something. I think it was shout the name or point. I just said that. I don't know why I repeated myself. I can't remember. I'm trying to think what the teacher, I think it was, yeah, okay, now I remember what happened. We're supposed to say the name of the people. And you could hear people like, Michelle, Corey, just saying the names. And I'm just like looking around, pointing at some people that I think did great in other groups. And then when it came to my turn, the choreographer, everyone's shouting names, and the choreographer's looking at me and pointing at me. You. And I'm like looking behind myself. What? Can't be pointing at me, right? So where are we pointing? And sure enough, she was pointing at me. She's like, you were great, amazing. So I'm like, okay. So what she wanted was all the people that got the name called or pointed at. In this case, that's what it was, because everyone was saying the name and she didn't know our name, so she just pointed at me. That's why I'm mixing up those things. So she says, I want all those people to go up now all together and perform. So these are the people that, you know, everyone really enjoyed the most, etc. So we go up, we perform. I do the same thing per usual. I get some, I lose some, I get some, I lose some. And I'm just having a great time. I don't know, I was honored that she thought I did good, and she pointed to me and told me to go. Okay. Then it ended, the class ended, and I went and I, you know, freshened up, whatever. And then, like, it's kind of really nice in dance classes to go and, like, thank a dance instructor who's come, or, like, in this case, she came as a part of this, like, college program to, like, help, it's a big deal for her to, like, travel to be there to be a part of this mock audition, right? She's an incredibly well-known choreographer. So I just wanted to go thank her, and this was my moment, you guys. This was like really means a lot to me. I walked up to her. I simply was like, "Hey, thanks so much for the class." And she pulls me to the side, and I was like, "What's happening? What's going to happen?" And she goes, "I just want you to know, if that was a real audition, I would have chosen you." And I nearly fell over. I think my jaw dropped. I was like, "Come again? Wait, what? Why?" She's like, you were dancing, like, you loved it. That's what people wanted. You were killing it." And I'm like, but I wasn't even catching the moves. It just doesn't matter. You'd catch them in, you know, tomorrow. Like, it's not like not every dancer gets it right away, and I'm one of those dancers that does not get it right away. But it's true that when I get choreography, it's no problem, but I don't catch it right immediately. So anyway, I was so honored. And I love that, like, you know, I went on to teach dance for years after that, right? And I get it, you know. I remember teaching a class specifically that had 2 girls. It was a private class with just 2 girls. They were friends. They signed up for a private class. One had, like, perfect technique, and she'd been dancing for a really long time. The other girl literally never danced before. Never. So she really didn't have any dance background, but she was enjoying the crap out of herself. She loved it. And it was true. I thought, I feel so sad. Here's this dancer who's so trained, but she's miserable. And this other little girl's never done it, and she's terrible, but she was so happy. My eyes went to her more. Anyway, yeah, so that's my favorite dance story. After that, I taught for a long time. Not that long. I did teach for different ages and groups, and performed in different groups. I actually coordinated a lot of dance performances and shows, created the shows, choreographed for the shows, lots of things like that, and then I actually got to teach. One of the special highlights for me was teaching when I lived in India. I taught there, and one of the subjects I taught was dance. That was the reason I went there initially, to teach. So I got to teach dance in India, and I got to learn Bhangra, and Bhangra is like kind of like the India of hip hop, the hip hop of India, I mean. And just over the years, I've gotten to learn. Now I'm in Egypt, and I've taken lots of belly dancing classes, so like learning different cultures, styles of dance. It's just really fun. And so now I just love to dance. I don't teach anymore. I found that teaching's really not my passion. I'll do it, but I really prefer, if I'm going to teach, I want it to be advanced dancers, so I can really choreograph something awesome. Because with little ones, it's like it's cute, but you can't really like be super passionate and creative in your choreography as much as you can with professional dancers. So yeah, I realised I really just love dancing and performing, so I stick to those two now. I haven't performed for quite some time. Since I've been in Egypt, I don't think I've performed. Although on the stage at my Zumba classes and my dance classes, sometimes I'll go up and just have fun up there on the stage. The instructor will just have me come, get to have a little fun performing. But besides that, I haven't gotten to perform for some time. But I still dance about 3 times a week, and I love it so much. I love salsa and Latin styles as well. Yeah, so I guess that's my dance history. I hope you guys enjoyed just a little storytelling, a little tap 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 on the tap shoes. It's a nice sound, isn't it? This is missing a screw here. Are these missing any? No, just this one. Okay, so I'm going to try and film something for you guys now and put it on Patreon. It will probably go up maybe a few days after this video though. So, yeah. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for watching. And I love you guys so much. Thanks for listening to my little story. Do any of you guys dance? If you do, will you tell me about the styles you do? Any of you love to watch dance? Any of you performed in any, I don't know, maybe some of you have been like on dance competition shows, anything like that? Okay guys, much love.